Whether you're a brand new player or a dwarf main that's maybe been lapsed for a while, you have to try this. It's the easiest and most effective one-man doom stack you can basically make within the first 20 turns of the game. There's no RNG required, just cold hard strategy with possibly the most fitting, the legendary white dwarf Grombrindal. This is part 2 of the 3 essential starter campaigns you should play with Total Warhammer 3. The reason why this campaign has been selected is it's one of those Chad fish out of water style campaigns. Anyone can do this. Nearly 1,000 damage, 700 is armor piercing. If he gets into trouble, we can use our Grombrindal has no fear to get him to over 120 melee defense. He naturally has 130 near melee attack. This was originally going to be 2 separate part videos. I normally do faction mastery guide where I rate the faction and then a basic walkthrough, and today we're going to do both in the same video. So this will be a much longer presentation, and it's also drawn out to be a bit more of a tutorial in length. If you guys like this, please let me know in the comments. If you hate this and want things separated in future, please let me know. It is so achievable. All the buffs are from quest items, items you can forge, and the character himself is just buffed by his neighbors, meaning the lords you defeat nearby, which are all evil, make sense for you to fight, give you excellent buffs. First we'll defeat Malekith, that'll give us Frenzy, basically giving us 10% to all of our damage output if we're above 50 leadership, but we are fearless, we're guaranteed that and can never lose it. Thorek the Brass Ball, Valkia the Bloody, and of course Crone Hellebron, even more armor piercing damage. If you decide to keep traveling to the east, you'll be able to take out Sigvold, giving you another 10% physical resistance, and this is why this is such a good doom stack, is because all of the enemies that he fights nearby, naturally the Dark Elves all give you extra armor piercing damage and damage output in melee. Now all we're doing here is following his basic skill tree up, boosting his dwarf warriors, movement and replenishment, and then his basic stats. If anything might scare us, we just boost his melee defense. With his ability, he gets 4 uses of it to get it above 120, and everything else is buffed by his signature gear, all obtained by quest items which give you more experience, and the only one we need to forge is the Iron Warden's Tankard. It gives regeneration, but Grombrindal starts with the resources you need to build it. Now character runes will also play a part in buffing him up to the absurd levels that we're going to have, but again, this is just all basic Oath Gold purchases. It's going to be great. As far as runes go, Master Rune of Spite is definitely a staple. I like the extra melee defense, you'll definitely need that, 10 melee defense, but also the Master Rune of Flight. I actually found this to be more potent than the 50 armor. Getting the 50 armor in the early game is very, very good, but you'll find that eventually your melee defense is so high, those low tier units really can't hit you, so you're more afraid of high armor piercing damage. Now, this Master Rune of Flight, you'll find that just the AI is currently bloody atrocious and they just derp around when they're surrounded. This will blast a small gap in the line and allow him to refocus himself and start swinging. So this setup of this Master Rune of Flight and the Scepter of Stone will give you a couple of really great damage abilities. You can also basically use this in sieges, break down the gate and just snipe out their characters and everything else, so even massive fortresses you can win with this rune. It's not just the convenience of his enemies, it's the fact that the items are so easy to get. The 3 main items are his main quest items, which of course you'll naturally obtain, no problems at all. The most important one in the enchanted slot is the Iron Warden's Tankard, and that's pretty easy to get, but it's a bit of RNG. So when you discover the Sisters of Twilight, they have a building that they might build, which will build pottery. That's a resource you need. Now the chances are you will get that, but they might not build it, and you might be waiting around for a while. If they don't build that resource and your RNG isn't good there, then what you can do is send a hero down to around here, and we want to discover Leon Leonker. He builds pottery. Also, I wouldn't go this way, but also Mazdamundi down here also has pottery that you can trade. Note that you only just have to trade the resource, but if you don't get that, Naggarond has marble. If you can't get the Iron Warden's Tankard, another excellent and very, very, very powerful ability is the Scepter of Stone. This is an insane bombardment ability, and honestly, it's worth trading this one in and out if the battles are easy or not. This will level entire armies that blob around you. I really can't recommend it enough. That said, having regeneration really is the crux to what will make you a dynamite one-man doom stack. Now, you don't need to just get it from there. In this campaign, we were able to get it from another item, which is the Seeds of Rebirth. Once again, this will free up the space to use that Scepter of Stone as a bombardment ability, so yeah, there's some benefit to be had there. His quest gear is so good, really the only one that I would consider replacing would be his axe with Starbreaker when you can get the resources, because it gives you heroic killing blow, pretty much the same as your own ability, an extra 50% damage, but on top of this you get 18% weapon damage and all of your attacks can break the enemy. Definitely an upgrade when you can get it. It's expensive, but you can easily get the resources down here by trading with or taking the exiles in the Heck territory, or just trading with Elithanar to get the obsidian and iron respectively. So incredible opportunity here for tradable items with Grombrindal. Make sure for the first time of his ancestral abilities, go for Grimnir Strength to boost your Dwarf Warriors, but in subsequent ones, feel free to boost Grombrindal himself, which will give him another 10 melee attack and defense than you see here, and even more weapon strength. You don't need to worry about Oath Gold because the quest will give you a mountain of Oath Gold. Now, I'm going to break down the diplomacy of this campaign because this is where the skill really does lie with it. First of all, number one rule, there's going to be some critical tips. Number one, first and foremost, always give tribute to Valkia the Bloody to hold her off you, right? So we need to give her, it's going down, we want to just basically give a regular gift here and there, one arrow up. See my diplomacy mastery guide? Only one arrow, green arrow up, will be the difference between stopping them from attacking you or just attacking you. Even then again, even when one gift doesn't quite do it, just try it. It can often be the difference between them declaring war on you. If they declare war on you before you've taken out down here, you are seriously in trouble. It is worth every cent to just keep on gifting. She'll eventually take out Grond, and then she will hopefully choose between you and Crone. She will pick Crone because you've been quite loyal and shown that you're happy to gift to keep the peace. Tip number 2 is to make sure with the exiles in the heck, trade with them by all means. Absolutely trade with them, build a bit of rapport, but don't sign anything else with them because the Sister Twilight might go to war with them, which means getting the trade deal to get that pottery might be more difficult. So consider only get trade with these guys. It might just bite you in the ass later, but trade will keep things going up nice and steadily, just like this. Don't stress about it, so only go trade with them. Tip 3, when you're expanding into Naggarond, you'll complete your province to take Rakdo Gorge. Now you have the mountains at your disposal and you might think, let's go take Harkaldra up here. Don't do that, it'll put you into direct contact with Valkia. Remember that will intimidate her, you don't want to do that. Instead, what we're going to do is we will go from here, straight under here to Naggarond. So stay low, stay away from Valkia for now, and then you'll wipe out the rats here, and you'll have the choice, well you'll force Naggarond to have the choice between their capital or Hagraif. And the idea is to lure out their armies, don't just attack their armies one-on-one. If you dismantle their armies one by one, which you can do by hopping around here, take your time, break his main army and maybe a secondary army, then go take his capital, then you can take Hagraif, and then just do cleanup. Harkaldra, ironically, is probably one of the last ones you want to take because once you're up there, you are really starting to be formidable here. As long as Malekith is a neighbor, then he's going to draw the heat. So use that to your advantage. Don't expand too far north, just keep on giving her tribute, take Naggarond, and then fill in the gaps here because tip 4, Torox the Brass Bull. Taking this guy out is paramount because he'll have a Herdstone here typically, and that will stop you from building over anything here. So you need to take him out. But also, Malekith will have given you one trait, which is Frenzy, giving you a buff to your melee attack, which is permanent because you're fearless. Torox will give you more damage output, so there's incentive to take him out for Grombrindal, but also you want this Herdstone gone because this will probably be the southern border down here. You want to take Clarkarond and make this your southern border. Pretty much you don't want to go further than this for now. You want to have a border here with Lithanar, which is going to be tip number 5, which is defensive, actually military ally when you can with the Lithanar. Now if he's doing good, it will make your campaign easy. If he's doing bad, it will make things more difficult. Just ignore the drowned. He will take care of them. Don't get involved with it, just let him take care of that, and then make this your southern border. So you'll have the Lithanar guarding you from here, and then ideally the Sister Twilight here, and hopefully they will gang up and defeat Morathi, so you never have to worry about it, and you'll be free around, say, sort of between turn 20 and probably 30 to start spearheading up here and take out Valkia. 6 is because he can be such a pain in the ass, Torox is incredibly dangerous. The other reason you want to get rid of him is he can underpass very far, he moves quickly, he will burn down these settlements. You've only got walled capitals here and here, which is great to start off with, but he can easily get in the belly here, so you need him dead. So you want a Master Engineer as soon as possible because he has the ability to block armies. So as soon as you get to tier 3, Master Engineer, send him out this way, block him, slow him down, and then Grombrindal can clean him up. A loose Torox can literally ruin your campaign. Take this very, very seriously. And after you've done that, you should pretty much be on easy street for the aforementioned reasons and be able to just focus on moving this way. Around this time, you should have enough experience with Grombrindal to start pushing this way without even an army on his side. You can split the army up, having the army go down this edge here and Grombrindal going north. But make sure, of course, you build an army to finish these guys off here, but it shouldn't be too difficult. Use your scouts, and then basically the campaign is essentially on autopilot from there if you've done everything correctly. And the last tip is to make sure you do your character quest as soon as you possibly can. They'll give you valuable gold and oath gold for you at that point in time, and it qualifies you for the next one because you'll rank up, build up, and then that will give you the next quest and so on. So very important, make sure you build the Master Rune of Flight. +7 melee defense on all of your characters is really handy to have. And of course, get that Iron Warden's Tankard as soon as you possibly can. If you can't get that, the Scepter of Stone is very easy to obtain because you get the marble at Naggarond, and this is a huge damage dealer, which I really recommend. What we can do is this frees us up to use our second army to start capturing. Here we go, we've taken our Valkia. We now have our next target of Crone Hellebron. We've made an alliance with the Lithanar. That is one of the key pillars to this. The next key pillar is we want to be on side with the Sisters of Twilight. So looking here, we had a trade deal with the Exiles in the Heck. We're going to now make sure we stay in league with them, and we're going to declare war on the Cult of Pleasure. They can pay us to do it. And that's got us tracking back up to the positive. Now, they will probably eventually wipe these guys out, but that's okay. We want to stay out of that as much as possible, and this will give us a flank here. We can eventually help them take out Marathi if it's so much of a problem, but we can just start working our way across here to the old world. We'll meet up with Belegar Ironhammer, and then we'll go give our other dwarf boys a go, but that is a very late game. Alright, so we're just going to start a brand new legendary campaign. Let's do it. Now, turn 1 of our legendary campaign, join your Runesmith to your army, and let's go win this very first fight. Now, because this is designed to be more of a beginner's guide, I'm going to actually walk through to teach you how to fight the battles with the different tools at your disposal. Here we're going to hotkey our Quarrellers on the back line. We'll need them to focus units down. And we've got 1, 2, 3 melee units up the front, and we can move them forward, and we have our line of sight range units here. Now, if you outrange the enemy, then you can have your Iron Drakes up the front. If they outrange you, keep them back here in reserve. And we move them up when the time is right, okay? But we outrange them, so let's go. Also, make sure you hotkey your gyrocopters. You'll want to quickly go with them. Double tap 1 to get to your Lord, 2 to your Runesmith to do the casting. This is the best way to go about it. And this is how you just pin a whole enemy unit in place and use your Iron Drakes to delete the entire unit without any friendly fire. And look at them go. Hotkey your archers for this reason and shoot over. The most high priority is always their ranged units. Even if they don't look like they have strong ranged units, take them out first. They affect your leadership. They're always the threat. Use your Rune of Speed to increase your melee attack, and the fight should be over with very little casualties. Turn off your guard mode just to make sure you hunt them down, and you can use your gyrocopter to finish off anyone else. And you can always use your Rune of Speed to give you a bit of extra movement to hunt down those lords. Remember, you get the experience from what you kill. Now, when you win your battles, you'll have 2 options. One gives you gold and oath gold, and the other one will give you some growth. So if it's in a local area, like we are, use that growth. It's a really great way for dwarfs to get some extra growth. You'll notice my voice not syncing up. I'm an idiot and forgot to turn my mic on for some takes. I'll be back live soon. So just simply occupy all your territories. Don't sack, don't loot. There is no time for that. So we're going to have 3 infantrymen up the front, and there's going to be gaps. Those gaps will have the line of sight missile units in the gaps there, and behind them we have the Quarrellers, and they can volley over those missile units. So everyone has line of sight to be able to do what they need. Most importantly, the characters up the front to catch the units so those Iron Drakes and Thunderers can shred without any friendly fire risk. Now, the best tool at your disposal here is your unit of Iron Drakes, but just be careful of friendly fire. If an actual unit, not a character, unit pins an enemy in place, take the time, draw a new line around the flank, get them to walk around, and then blast the enemy. It is not worth friendly fire. Take your time to line up your shots, and you will eviscerate large swaths of enemy infantry. If you look closely here, I see that unit approaching my Iron Drake, so I get Grombrindal and get him to attack them and pin them in place, and now the Iron Drakes can return fire. This is a great way of using your units to pin the enemy in place. I really recommend using these early battles as a great opportunity to get better at using your Iron Drakes. Find a shot with no friendly fire, draw that line and just pin them in place to allow that stream of fire to win for you. Use these early battles as great practice, as these skills are invaluable. We're going to be occupying all our territory. Don't worry about looting or sacking for now. It's just going to slow you down. We don't want the revolts and you lose efficiency out of your provinces by having low public order. We're going to hire nothing here but basic dwarf warriors, and when we get them, Quarrellers. Those are the core. Of course, upgrade that barracks to tier 2 to get Quarrellers, and normally we're just going to worry about economy. We're not going to worry too much about growth. The exception here is our main province. Growth is nowhere near as important in Warhammer 3 as it was in number 2, but you still want your capital to be getting through the techs a bit quicker. Now finally, we had no research on during those fights. You may have just got yourself a student or archivist follower. The way you get these is by simply ranking up your characters with no research enabled. So at the start of your turn, always turn off your research before you do any battles and only ever learn one research technology at a time. The reason is it will complete over the end turn, and this gives you a chance of gaining followers over the end turn, assuming there was only one turn left. So, rule of thumb, just turn off your research at the start of your turn and only learn one technology at a time, and we're going for Dwarf Warriors to start with. Start Grombrindal down his bottom blue tree and fast track Wraith of Wrath and Ruin with your Rune Lord. Hard to Dwarf Warriors and end turn. Turn 2, so get Grombrindal and move him up just before the edge of the border. So make sure you see the fastest path, but don't click all the way. You'll accidentally leave your territory. We need to move to the edge and hire 2 more Dwarf Warriors. Double check the balance of power of our enemy. He's looking very weak, so nothing to worry about. End turn. Start at turn 3, and now we get access to the Living Ancestor, Grombrindal's signature ability for his faction, and most importantly, this allows you to buff your melee infantry by +10 melee attack and defense, as well as increase the reload speed of your Quarrellers. So incredibly powerful. This will make sure you never lose a single battle. The other abilities are nice. They buff the faction, reduce cost. You can even get one which boosts Grombrindal himself, but you don't actually need this. The previous build you saw did not have this active, just to show how powerful it is. Just go for Grimnir's Strength, boost your Dwarf Warriors. You will not regret this. Now it's time to attack this capital. You'll have enough movement. The way you do this is by simply going hard against the right hand wall to avoid any tower damage. Move forward first with your characters and knock down at the front door. Keep your Iron Drakes just behind the front door and they will launch fire through the door and they'll catch everyone that's around Grombrindal and your Runesmith. Eventually, once you've cleared this area and they're not coming anymore, put your ranged units on top of the walls and then move a crack squad including Grombrindal out and hunt down the remainders. Pretty easy. Just fight as many as you can around the entrance for as long as possible. And of course occupy, no looting, no sacking, and now that we can, we will hire 2 Quarrellers. We can choose an edict now, and the one we're going to choose for the first run through is going to be the local recruitment edict to give us a full stack a little bit quicker. We can level up now, and we're going to first get 3 points in Absolutely Relentless, which will give us an extra 15% movement, so important, and of course Runesmith getting the Rune of Wraith and Ruin. Turn 4, so let's just check the diplomacy screen. So Malekith does know about us, but he hasn't declared war yet. Now what's important here is that here we have our main capital, but also we have down here a capital as well. So this is a new province, but this is a capital. So this is good, it automatically has walls, so if they want to try to get to this soft underbelly, they need to go past this walled settlement. We've checked the balance of power and we can beat all these guys comfortably, so we don't need to hire more troops than we need because we've got a lot of building to do and we don't have that much money. So let's do a bit of scouting because this is our next target. So move out less than 50%, so if we see something nasty, we can run the Runesmith back. We've got ourselves some wild beastmen here. If we attack them, they'll run away, so there's no point doing that yet, and 2 Skaven units. So let's move not so close that he'll see us, but about here in ambush stance. We just need 25% or less, about there. Turn 5, and what do? We turn off our research. We've got a lot of fights, a lot of levels to get, which means a lot of opportunity to get us some research followers. So we'll be in range of this, so we could attack it, but instead, let's first attack this unit of Skaven here. Cool, it's pushed him back, and we wanted to do that. We wanted to wipe these units out. Remember, 2 retreats or losses means you lose the entire army. We don't want loose Skaven armies going around pillaging this. We want them all dead. Let's do it. So let's attack. It's another fort, but we've got some more Quarrellers. This should be no problem. Let's do it. On the battlefield, deploying the exact same way again on the exact same side. They must have the same architect or something. We're going to hit fast forward, but this time we're going to select all our units. We're going to turn off fire at will. So no one's going to be shooting without our express permission. There's a reason for this, is that we have a much bigger army to deal with. We don't want them wasting their ammo on really bad targets and just bad shots. So first of all, let's move our guys out of the line of sight here. As they're retreating and their shields are turned away, it can be a really good time to unleash a volley to try and shatter some extra units. If you know that you're already winning, which we are, we just want to make sure they don't come back, and at least all of these arrows will usually find their mark. Once you've broken one, move across to the next one. Just stay calm. This is how you use your arrows. It's just a return fire, okay? You'll beat the infantry in the fight. It's making sure they don't pepper you with arrows. As things get a bit tighter, make sure that you hold your ground just here in front of the gates, and it's time to bring up your units and get them to have fire at will on whilst being on top of the gates now. And don't forget your bombs, they can be quite useful. for a bit of crowd control.
Understood, Lord. Pick your targets well. Go for the Ancestor.
When it gets to late stages, don't go too far away from the entrance. You can usually get most of what you need done from not too far away. Oh, thank God. Man, I forgot how much I hate long sieges in this game. Lost half my guys, so let's fast forward it. Whew, and that is that one done. So let's see, did we lose any units? Probably lost a couple. Okay, cool. Now, I think it's RNG. You might not always get the barracks at this building. If you do, of course, buy yourself some more Dwarf Warriors. Keep getting that extra campaign movement. Add Rune of Wrath and Ruin. And there we have our very first student researcher. That's excellent. Let's make sure it's equipped. And it's not for some reason. Now it is. Awesome. Baby steps. Also remember, you can check your lords here, and you can hire and then disband if you want to an Ancestor of Grimnir, which will give you plus 5% research there. Switch back on your Dwarven research, and let's just check the Ogres that we're now in contact with. We can't get him to join the war, can we? Sometimes they have no wars, you can get them to join yours, but he just doesn't seem to hate them enough, which is a problem. Just remember, this has walls, so we have some time board there, and this at least is a mountain way, so if we can spy down here, we can see that we're safe. So we just have to roll the dice there a little bit. Now we're going to do our most deft diplomatic moves right now. So let's have a look at who we can trade with. Now the exiles in the heck, right? It looks like they don't agree with us, but they have such little money, this ends up adding up a lot. So we'll offer them the bare minimum to get this trade deal. It'll earn itself back over a few turns. More importantly, they won't turn on us. It's just a trade deal. They'll probably fight Sister Twilight. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We just need time. Now, the Legion of the Gore Queen. Now, we don't want her or her vassals, which are among here, to attack us. We need time. We need time to not be attacked from the south. We need time not to be attacked from the north. So how do we buy some time? Well, we just make sure there's people she hates more than us.
You shall choke on the torrent of your own blood.
She won't sign anything with us, no doubt, but we can join a war that we don't really need to have anything to do with. It's up here, so we'll actually side with her in this one. Not a popular choice, siding with the Chaos Warlord, but it's all we can do. So let's do this for a bit of extra cash in our pocket. Even though that's a terrible score, the trend also matters. That little bit of improving will count for something. It may just destroy us next turn, but this gives us our best bet. Turn 6, you know what we need to do. We need to switch up that research so we have a chance of gaining a follower, and these guys are just getting a little bit too close for comfort, and I can see from here that I reckon that we'll be able to chase them down. We have 30% of our movement consumed. I think we'll be able to get them out of that area, so let's go. So let's chase these guys down. Oh, here we are. An opportunity has just presented itself. These guys are at war with those Beastmen. Let's join the war for some money. At least that has kept things civil. So there we go. Keep that in mind. If you're looking to get them on side, that is a path you can take. Also, let's see. Can we peace out with these rats? No, we can't. Sometimes worth doing, right? Because they're not really our problem anymore. If they only wanted to attack Malekith, then that's his problem and not ours. So worth doing. So piecing out can definitely have some value. So now we need to get these guys off our land. Take this seriously. These guys will underway and they will burn everything to the ground. Make sure you have enough movement to defeat them once, and then when they retreat, to finish them again. He'll probably run from our army straight away because Grombrindal's leading it. Yep. Alright. Oh, can we get there? We'll take his place. We should just be able to reach, and we can. If not, the good thing is that he would have been on the outside of our territory. We would have been able, if he moves in, we'd be able to catch him. Let's finish this. I don't think they have any ranged units, so this gives us a good chance to do some scouting.
For the Ancestors. Nothing can stop us.
Making sure we have our stronger units up the front. We're going straight back to our home province to do some recruiting, so let's get this growth and control. That faction is wiped out, and that is a huge threat. That is completely nullified. We've gotten ourselves another follower, so let's put that on him. I like to put them on my heroes rather than my lord. Now, we're in hostile terrain here. Let's see what Malekith has. He has a lot of military strength, and he's most probably down here finishing off the rats, right? Look at what his targets are. Look where he's most likely to be. So I feel comfortable moving away and moving in force march. Be very careful using force march. So let's just go as far over as we can. Remember to switch your research back on. Now, while it's not costing as much, this miner I don't want. It's a short-term unit. I want everything to be warriors and quarrellers other than our special units. So we're going to disband that because in our main capital, we've got this edict open. We can hire 3 units next time. 17 plus those 3 will take us to 20. Why pay the upkeep over the end turn? Turn 7 and we've managed to get our first Dwarven warrior research well on our way to a really sturdy front line. We also have a trespasser and that is Malekith. So what we can do is zoom right in. And he is right there, so no doubt he is looking to finish off these rats here, but I'd say we are certainly next on the chopping block. These guys are coming towards this settlement here, and looking at it, we might need to hire a lord to beat that, but this is why we choose capitals for our frontiers. They're already walled, and we can use the towers there to beat armies we have no right beating. Let's get Levy Missile Warriors because these ammunition wagons will be excellent. Extra 20% missiles. But remember, only one technology at a time. Observing the terrain we have here, you can see that there's basically only 3 inlets in this starting mountain area. We have this top one across here, we have this secondary one here, and of course there's these bottom paths around here leading to the ogres down here. So we haven't met what's down here yet, so it's not really a problem. So we could attack Caldra over there, but the problem is it brings us into really close competition with Valkia up here, and she can be a big handful. We want to keep Malekith on that front. He's basically a buffer state, so try to avoid being a neighbor to really dangerous enemies, just like she is. One thing we need to also do is make sure that her relationship isn't going down. Check this every few turns and consider giving a small gift. If you're playing on the easy difficulties and she declares war on you, you could always reload, save scum, give her a small gift, try to end the turn, and sometimes that'll be the difference. Like I said, the trend is almost more important than the score. If she hates you but she thinks it's getting better, she will hold off declaring war if there's better options. She is neighbouring Crone Hellebron. We want her to declare war on Crone Hellebron rather than us. The other thing we can do is not be a threat by not neighbouring her. So instead of going north this way, we're going to go down this way. We've got walls there, and we're going to move our way across and take Naggarond. The secret tip is we need to take out Malekith's armies, and if we can do that away from the settlements in the field, it's going to be much better for us. We need all our troops healed up, so it's absolutely worth bring Grombrindal back to get the maximum healing on your troops and hire 3 more Quarrellers. At this position here, you'll be able to force march next turn and reinforce should he decide to besiege this city. So we'll be all good. End turn. Turn 8, and our capital is now up to tier 2, so let's get the Trinket Maker. I know this doesn't seem so intuitive. Why build this building in the capital? We need money, you will need money soon. So these guys decided to forego besieging that, so fair enough, that makes sense. What we'll do is we're going to hold right click and we're looking around to see if we can get better than 50% ambush success. We're not going to, so instead let's just move to about here.
I'm leaving.
There we are.
You have my axe.
So hopefully if he underways, we'll be able to either intercept him or we'll be able to just chase him down and finish him off. Wouldn't surprise me if he retreats. So just doing a quick check of our neighbours. Valkia still upwards trending, but we've also got these ogres in the bottom. We haven't seen much from them, and they don't have any enemies right now. This is where we can try to get them involved in what we're doing. Will they join the war against Clan Septic? That means they'll be attacking these guys instead of us. Massive win, okay? Oh, they don't want to do it. Will they join the war with Grons? Nope, okay. That does suck. Can we give them a gift? We can't. Okay, well, fortunately they've only got 1 settlement left, but we just need to be aware they might come after us. And over the end turn, we have landed the underway interception. So if it's only clan rats and scaves, just auto-resolve it. You get experience based on the number of units you kill. An auto-resolve will wipe the entire army, maximizing the experience you get. Now, so far we've been really pushing the growth in these key provinces. This time around, we're going to make a change. We're going to start getting some money, and this will give us some oath gold, but you get plenty of oath gold from quest items. Turn 9, we've managed to get our first quest battle. We're not going to do it yet because we don't want to lose most of our army doing it and then have to back up fighting Malekith. Let's just check his balance of power. He's definitely got at least 3 big armies, so we need to be aware of that and we need to take them out one at a time, preferably. Now, here's a really handy tip, right? What we need to consider is if our army retreats, it's going to move back a few steps. So here we can see the settlement's reinforcement ring, and you normally want to stand in that so you get those extra reinforcements. But if we plant our guy here, and he has to retreat, he will fall back and get that settlement reinforcing us. And that could be important because he might have a second army here that we can't see. So it could quickly become a 2 or V1, but if we get close enough, we can use the reinforcements from the settlement, which will give us a massive edge. Let's just move down roughly the same path we're going to take the Grombrindal.
Nothing to do
50%
here.
there.
Let's go.
Cool. Looks pretty safe. Alright, so this spot right there, we can get 70% ambush and still have 25% movement, so we've done that. Got a bit of movement left. Let's just scout out, see what we can see.
Agreed.
Tiny bit more.
Beards in belt with
Okay,
stride.
let's return back to the army.
It shall be done. One
Now, I made a mistake here. I was not paying attention. I accidentally clicked on Inspiring Presence. What I should have done is gone Get Up. We need to maximize movement and maximize replenishment first. This will make us a mobile and quickly replenishing fighting force. Whilst Axe Lord is very, very strong and something I would endeavor to get, we just don't need it right here. We've got these skills, and then this amazing line here will be just around the corner before we know it. There's still a couple more armies around here. We might need to pay a bit of tribute, we're not quite sure, so when in doubt, just play it slow and safe. But our public order is starting to dive a bit here, so let's get the Control Edict and slow down that pain. Also, it's time to enter the Forge. Starting off in the character runes, you cannot go wrong getting +7 melee defense on both of your characters, and of course, don't forget to equip
The
war
dwarfs need
runes.
me.
Valkia
Consort
is
of
no longer
Thorn.
improving, but it's not going down, and she's still busy. If she had no wars left, I would definitely be gifting this campaign is making sure you don't get overwhelmed from too many fronts. Now, last of all, these guys, it's -24. We do need to do something about this. We will probably pay the price, so let's give them... Okay, it's really cheap to give them gifts. They will also probably fight the people that we want to not fight, so we'll give them 2 gifts. Both relatively cheap. Anytime it's under 1,000 gold, consider giving 2 gifts. Okay, so there's no way he's declaring war on us now. Yeah, and just think of the cost though. That costs 1,000 gold, but what happens if he declares war on us? We don't have walls in here. We've built our walls up here and here, and we'll soon have Naggarond, a nice network of walls. That's not walled. Like, that's not walled. They could easily come up here and pillage. Make sure we manage our number of threats. If we have to pay them to do that, it's money well spent. Turn 10, and again, this is going to be another exercise in movement. So, we have Grombrindal here. If he needed to, absolutely worst, he could underway all the way over here. So let's have a look. So this is ambush stance, regular stance, but if we look at the underway stance, he can't attack from it, but it's got a fair bit of reach. Now, what we're going to do is be able to, within 2 turns, so we're down here, we can go there, there, and then reinforce this, or at least these deeper territories. We have some time to build a crisis army and react with it. So what we'll do is first we're going to go south. We're going to go below Naggarond and hopefully catch some of these armies that are kicking around here and take them out, and then also take this territory here. This shows the maximum reach of it. Now this is our territory. We will still replenish here. Our runesmith, we'll get him down, say about there, and there's the army. Now I think he thinks he can beat us. I'm fairly certain of that. And here's the deal. We have the mountains on our side. He doesn't. He has to move manually all the way around here and just still in our territory, but on the very, very edge of it. I checked before, the rats have 2 settlements left, there and there. So he's probably got forces stretched out to take care of those. For research, ammunition wagons for 20% extra ammunition is massive and will really come in clutch in sieges. Very high priority research. Turn 11, and we have just had the most massive drop of luck. We've managed to get a Thane dropped over here, and this is definitely not guaranteed. I'm still going to roll with it. This is just too good not to, but I'm not going to rely on it in my battles. What I'll do instead is I'll use him as a bit of recon here. So let's just move him up this. We'll get him as close to here as we can. Alright, so we can see they have an army there with 2 heroes in it, so that's going to be dangerous, but it's not yet. And we have Malekith himself with his starting army, and we're not actually at war yet, probably because he was cleaning up the rats. Let's attack him now. Let's do it. Alright, so welcome to the battlefield, and this is going to show how we handle Dark Elves because the method is certainly different. So this looks like a standard checkerboard, bit more going on than you might originally think. So first of all, a traditional 2 hollow diamond formation, but it's a little bit different. So I can name these guys number 5, these guys number 6, and the point is these guys can focus fire over the top. At the front we have our line of sight units, our Thunderers, and our Iron Drakes. Now be careful with the Iron Drakes. This is a threat because they can be outranged by the Dark Shards quite significantly. If you need, pull them back, but if melee units come in first, you can hit them. We've chosen to deploy against this rock here to basically reduce our amount of melee infantry on this flank and can reinforce this one. And we have our heroes able to pin the enemy in place, so these line of sight gunfire units can get a lot of value out of there. I'll give you a quick flying lesson here. So with gyrocopters, similar to dragons, just 3 clicks in each direction to make sure that they start banking. Now, the best way to use the gyrocopters with brimstones is they need to stay still while they shoot. So basically, oh, they stay still too long. So basically you charge up, oh, unload your shot, and then immediately move. Things are mainly good against anti-large, so what we'll do is we're going to stick them down the back line. Don't leave them at the front. If in doubt, spring them back. And we're going to start firing some shots into this unit here. Chariots can really cause dwarves a lot of pain.
Off we go. Stop us.
So this is how you really push Dark Elves back. So literally stop them from getting to crossbow range and push them back. And there you have it, you'll have your victory. Alright, we've defeated him once, and we'll certainly take the gold. We really do need it. Oh, okay, that's him done. I thought he might have a second fight left in him. But we managed to get his defeat trait. Excellent, that's Frenzy. It's basically extra 10% on all of his damage output. We are on the path to making him the Doomstack that he can actually be.
I am the White Dwarf.
But just quickly remember, Malekith still has a number of armies. He's at least got 2 armies, although one-on-one we can almost certainly take them all out. We select our Runesmith, you can basically see his entire movement band. Let's just move him sort of just under half of what he's got left, just to make sure we can't possibly run out of movement. And lo and behold, that's why we scout before we move, because I'm glad we know we have to deal with this post-battle, but we can deal with it. We can upgrade him to get the sharpened weapons ability, very handy. Dwarves have enough armor. I think sharpened weapons is a better priority than that. Select sharpened weapons. You'll get more experience if you just auto-resolve it. Upgrade one of your main buildings. They'll all be level 2 now, and that's it for this turn. Turn 12, and Malekith and his boys were kind enough to wipe out Clan Septic for us. Would have been some excellent experience, but you get that. We have another Beastman herd in here, not too close to us, not a problem. So let's go hunt us some Dark Elves. Oh, he wasn't keen. Ah, he's gonna get away. That's a shame. We're just gonna hide an ambush stance right here. Hopefully we catch one, if not both of them, and then we'll make our way to Naggarond to finish things off. We'll bring our Thane around. I think we can hold off just one turn until Grond are destroyed. So, are Grond nearly dead?
Spellcaster.
Grond are nearly dead. Naggarond is still blocking the way, so I think we're safe. End turn. And ambush success. So this next group of turns is all going to be about trying to get the 1-up and take out these armies one by one methodically. Auto-resolve really heavily favours ambushes, so I just decided to do that. Turn 13, we've got a bit more experience. Now that we've got these main 2 lines here, now that we've maximised the movement and the replenishment, now I think a point into Axe Lord is more than fine. An extra 4 melee defense on your Dwarf Warriors, really useful stuff. Our Rune Lord might want to prioritise sharpened weapons, but I think it's also important to drop their missile resistance by 10%. Very useful and powerful ability. Now we can see that the Ogres that we befriended, remember 2 gifts, we gave it to these guys and they had a choice. They needed to make a new enemy. It wasn't going to be us because we gifted them. It probably would have been us otherwise because we were actually closer, so as well as sharing a province. So what they've decided to do instead is declare war on Malekith, and look at this, they're now sending an army over there. It's not a great army, but even if it just besieges and holds them down for a few turns, that is distracting Malekith and we can dismantle them easily. If he does somehow conquer it, we can turn on these guys and wipe them out very soon, much easier. So we've got another army. This might seem counterproductive because of moving away from Naggarond. It's really not. More experience with Grombrindal, the better. So we're going to move up as close as we can. You know what, I do want to use this Thane, so I'm going to, but you don't need it for what we're doing. Passing the units into one lot of Dwarf Warriors. And here we are. Let's finish this guy off. And let's finish him off. Oh, really? Okay. Now the last thing we can do this turn is take one step out and we can do our first quest battle and do it. On the battlefield, we're basically just deploying between these 2 big mounds here, using those to basically stop them from coming in and hopefully funnel the enemy in. We've got the classic double diamond set up here with our line of sight units up the front. Let's do it. Now if you have the rune slowing here, using it on a flyer like this will absolutely melt it. We don't have that yet. Would have been nice. Just Control M to highlight all of your missile units and just click on this dragon. Ouch.
Understood. Move now.
Alright, Rune of Faith and Ruin.
Get them. Get them.
Keep shooting, guys. Keep shooting. Oh. And here's your gyro bomber to either bomb or just harass the archers, depending on what comes first. Of course, focus down any range units they have. Pretty much the strategy always stays the same. Disable the range first, then get in. Finally, a big swarm of Chaos Swarm will come down. Just be careful of them. They'll basically try to clumper out here, but they're fearless, so don't be afraid to move your melee units up a little bit further. Their engine will pull them back. And there's Grombrindal just hanging in there. And the time of his life getting swarmed by Chaos Swarm. There he is. He's winning. They gave us an absolute boatload of experience, gold, oath gold, everything. And most of all, it's made him much more tanky and survivable. Awesome. Let's just rest our forces. There we go. We've got our armor. We can now also access his high tier tree. Another 15% movement. Now this is Grimnir's Resolve. This is his unique ability, and this works on himself as well as any nearby units. And it gives them all 24 melee defense and makes them unbreakable. Very useful. Don't underestimate it. Very handy to have. Sharpen our weapons a bit more. And with Thanes, we're all about boosting melee defense and armor and health. Something that's quite useful is let's just forge a couple of Veterans Hammers. It's only 30 oath, gives them expert charge defense and an extra 6 melee defense, and we'll also get the Ranger's Cloak for both of these guys. Turn 14, and yes, these guys declared war on us. I was hoping that didn't happen. We're a bit exposed here because there are no walls there, but these guys are also preoccupied with the Exiles and the Heck, who are roughly the same. As long as they're competing directly with each other and they're not getting wrecked too badly by the Beastmen, this should be relatively competitive. So hopefully they're too busy. If not, the Exiles will hopefully get the one up on them, being a major faction versus a minor faction. Now let's do our scouting, of course. Continue the hurt on Naggarond. Okay. Now I really don't want to face these guys when they're all together here. So we moved here. The idea is that they're either going to come and attack us, try to go behind us, in which case we can outmaneuver them, or we go and take Hagrave. If they don't lose to these guys first. Will you join our war?
Match my voice.
Oh, they've already joined it. Well, that's great news for us, so we don't have to worry too much about Hagrave. I'm hoping that these guys both try to 2-on-1 us because we can easily defeat them. Our army is better than theirs. Dark Elves are weak against Dwarfs. Forget what you think. They want to come in and close us with their shields and their crossbows. We can outrange them with our crossbows, and we can beat them up when they get too close. It's just got to be carefully managed, that's all. So for research, let's get improved volley fire, which will give us more reload time. Faster crossbows, really going to help our damage output.
Like the
Give her
sniveling
one gift.
coward you are.
One gift.
The master commands.
Oh, I really can't afford another war. Oh, it's giving away money, but
By my black will.
we have a lot of oath gold. Let's get some more equipment on these guys. The Master Rune of Spite, very, very good, deals area of effect damage just around the character themselves. And the Master Rune of Adamant, this is one of my favorites, another 10 melee defense. And we're going to put that on Grombrindal, and he's going to be our last line of defense. Let's jack him up. There we go, getting up there. Veterans Hammers, always useful to have. You never really have too many of these. And the Veterans Flask, another very dependable one, which just increases that melee defense. If you can't tell, melee defense is excellent. It's what stops them getting hit when they're pinning down enemies. Probably the most important stat. Yes, he attacked. I thought he'd attack with both armies. He's just attacked himself, and he has just signed his death warrant. So don't try to attack and draw out the garrison in Naggarond. It's pretty strong. It's more about the numbers. There's just too many crossbows, and they'll overwhelm his shields. This is what you want to do. Give him a tough choice. Force him between two settlements, so he has to make a decision. Come out and attack you, or lose the settlement. Here we are, moving up to take the middle ground. Again, making sure that our archers are going to be quite close to our front line, because we only just barely outrange them. Gyrocopters are anti-large, so you can get a few easy cheap shots away at their cavalry. Alright, let's finish these guys off. Now don't get distracted by their melee, take out their range units. We can easily beat them in melee. Focus on where we're weak. Dwarf warriors automatically have charge defense versus large, so horses do not get their charge bonus versus them. Have all of your Quarrellers hotkeyed, and then move on to the next round of Dark Shards. Oh man, I set them up for that, didn't I?
Warriors! For a vengeance! Hunt those dwarfen legs! Drain them! For the High King! Quarrellers! Walkthru!
Alright, send some warriors out there.
Missiles! Nothing can stop us! Gyrocopter! Iron drakes!
There we go, you want to push them away.
Strike out!
Turn off guard mode and you can chase them down.
Dwarf warriors! Strike out! Quarrellers! Chance! Take them down!
Here we go, they're running out of range units. Come on, Grombrindal, finish him. Grudge revenge, bitch.
Rune of smiting upon them!
Yes! Take that, grudge avenged. And we wrecked that army so bad there is no way they're coming back. We need that money. Alright. So when deciding what we're going to do next, we need to mainly look at the number of characters they have. They have 1, 2, 3 basic lords, no heroes. This isn't too bad. The number of characters they have is what's going to really limit our ability to smash a lot of face with Grombrindal. We got two options. We could either come back here, run back and do our quest battle and heal up, or we could try to press them while we have the advantage, do our best to push them down and take them out. Alright, we can do this. And here we are on the battlefield. We've got these guys coming in just dead ahead of us, so we're making sure that we're looking at them, and let's just basically move forward and try to meet this army in the middle. If you want to cheese the battle, you can try to waste all their ammo doing that, but I do that with artillery, I don't do it with archers. That's my honor will not allow me. Let's face them so we can screen them properly.
Vengeance! Pick your targets well! Allah's blessing on us. It is a reckoning.
That they need to be stationary to shoot, so they'll come in to get in range. We push them away with our range units, and even if they have shields, which some dark shards do, they won't count for anything.
Can't stop us! Nothing can stop us!
I know it's a bit safe, but I do not want any friendly fire. Good.
Dwarf, ready axes!
There we go. We lost a unit of Dwarf Warriors, but we absolutely wrecked the garrison and everyone else around, so beautiful. You know what, let's take the growth this time because we are going to capture Naggarond this turn. Ah, nice. Mastering of Spite, so we have 2 of these now. Let's throw that onto our Rune Lord. This is the one that does Area of Effect. Awesome stuff. Sharpen weapons, hell yes. Let's get that melee defense. Let's finish this off. Okay, welcome to the battlefield. What we're doing here is we're taking Naggarond. Now, you might have to do this against a garrison plus a really big army as well, and it is a long, freaking tedious battle. We didn't get it on this run, but I did have to do it last time. There is one point here, along this side here. You see this wall? There is no tower there, which gives you a great opportunity. The line of sight will run about there and about here, so let's deploy ourselves, I'd say about here. Now, down the back, I'm putting my vulnerable units. So basically, I don't want to lose the Thunderers or Iron Drakes, or the Hammerers, very hard to replace. They're just going to sit this one out. Now, you will usually have about half your army as Quarrellers, have them loosely sort of set out like this, but then at the very front have your Dwarf Warriors, as their shields will help protect them. So I'll show you how to do this. So let's just select these guys. There's 2 main components to this. The first one is your Quarrellers need to be in range of this barricade here. They will just keep on sending reinforcing archers or crossbowmen to that barricade, keep shooting them off it. The idea is don't waste any of your bolts against anyone that doesn't have a crossbow. You can beat up their elves. Immolate, no problem, but those crossbows are armor piercing, they are nasty. The next thing is we're going to send both Grombrindal and a runesmith around here to the front gate. The other thing is using a runesmith just to keep on recharging that rune of Wraith and Ruin and just keep on popping away and chipping away at their units. And here we are, this is about where you want them to just be standing, and we just keep on shooting off anyone that goes there. Focus fire down 1 unit at a time. Sometimes they'll send people outside the gate. It's a bad idea when I've got Grombrindal here, but go for it, guys. Getting rid of their archers is paramount. Keep your eyes open. Their shades can stealth. And there we have it. Naggarond is ours. Of course, occupy We've got a ton of gold now, we're not really too worried. At Elder Spy we'll build a trigger maker, we need just as much cash as we can get. It's going to escalate from here, and that's looking pretty good. Normally what I would have done is get a second lord, hire them, and then next turn we pass all units to them, and then they can run down this way, capture that with there, because Grombrindal can take that all by himself with no trouble at all. After that, we have down here to worry about.
Increase.
Oh, make sure you got this trade deal signed.
Yes.
I should have signed that ages ago. What was I thinking? Ah, we also have, we've just made contact with the old world. Let's sign this up.
Well met, dwarfs. What are your demands?
Cool.
I hope you.
Of course.
And we'll start trading with Boris and anyone else that will have us. The only tradable resource we need to get the Iron Warden's tankard, which gives us regeneration, is pottery, and the Sisters of Twilight automatically build this from their main settlement building, so we just need a trade deal with them, and then we are fine. Okay, so around this turn you will have taken it Naggarond, and you will have the option, unless you managed to take this earlier, the best idea I think is to take Naggarond because it gives them very few ways to react. Now they only have 2 provinces left on each side, and only this one is Haggrave. It's a capital and it's a bit dangerous. Now we need to see what they have, so remember, use your heroes. So let's just scout out to see Harkaldra. Okay, so they've got one lord there and they have a basic garrison, so we know that Grombrindal can defeat that whole army by himself, and this means hiring a second lord, so always look for this trait, Ancestor of Grungy, just as mentioned in the Dwarf Mastery Guide. Please check it out if you haven't seen this. We want as many of these as possible, to the point where even if you don't use them, you can keep them in your recruitment pool as long as you hire them, and they will still give this 5% extra research rate. Now you usually won't see this straight away, it takes a turn for it to actually show here, but that's fine. So we're going to pass all of Grombrindal's troops into this new lord. We will lose a bit of replenishment rate because they don't have the replenishment buff, but we're going to run Grombrindal up here, we'll use ambush stance. If we keep on using ambush stance enough times, we get the ambusher trait, and of course garrison the army to maximize that replenishment. Next turn it's going to go down here and then take Haggrave, and that will completely wipe out the Dark Elves. Now just be mindful, if your army is absolutely trashed, then you can take an extra couple turns to globally recruit some more Quarrellers, a bit more frontline. Don't forget about your frontline, but against these sieges you will need Quarrellers. Don't forget about them. Also be mindful that Grimnir's strength only applies to Grombrindal's actual army, so these are only operating as regular dwarf warriors. Still pretty good, but yeah, they're not the demigods that they are under Grombrindal. We need to make sure that we still have...
Your lands will suffer my
Ooh,
infinite
so she's
rage.
starting to get a bit
The
heated with
rage
us.
of corn.
Let's give her a small gift.
The
Let's...
master commands.
Oh, okay, she's hard to please. It's expensive, but I'm going to give her a medium gift because it doesn't cost too much right now.
For the blood god.
And that'll hopefully keep her sated just for a little bit longer. I'm quite concerned because she is at war with Harganeth, but Harganeth is also doing really well, so she could lose this war, so I kind of want them to tangle for a little bit longer. But we need to make our way down here to get our eyes on the Sisters of Twilight, also because these guys declared war on us, so it's a bit disconcerting, but if they come up, we could lose this territory. It has no walls. Keep an eye on your upkeep, right? At the moment, we could afford a unit with a few extra troops. It also will be able to attack these guys relatively soon as well. We want to wipe them up. Don't sign anything with them. We want them gone. But this is also our capital. We can recruit the best armies from here. We don't have any of the great trait, so let's just go for these guys. And hire yourself some Quarrellers. And let's flip that edict over now to recruitment. This way he can underpass to take that, or he can defend against that if they so choose. It's an expensive insurance policy, but it's one we need to do. Turn 17, and we are ready to attack. Let's get Grombrindal out of ambush and charge straight in. And there's not much more else we could do right now but charge in. He's not going to operate at his best just yet, but we'll get there. Now what we'll do is we'll hide in the trees here because this will reduce the amount of missile fire that can actually come through and get him. So we now have 4 uses of this, so we may as well use it to reduce the damage we take. Always keep one up your sleeve because you will need it if you fight enemy lords. So here's a hero. Make sure your back is not turned towards heroes. Alright, there we go. That's one good hit. Yep. And just every now and then you'll need to just click on them again to make sure that he stays close to them and attacks them. Oh man, we are murdering this guy. Cool, push through. So you really need to make sure you're seeing what's going on and you don't just hit fast forward. It's another good hit. This guy's going to retreat after another hit. Oh, we missed him that time. Just make sure you stay above 25% health. Use your abilities if you need to. And definitely save one if you know you need to fight a master or someone like that in melee. Never turn your back to strong units. If they have any armor piercing like Blackguard and Naggarond, make sure you face those and you attack them and prioritize them. And there we go. Of course, we will occupy this. Now, if that's some military buildings, I might be tempted to go the recruitment, but I'm instead going to just go growth to get this place walled up. Walls on that will keep us safe from Valkia. So all Naggarond have left is this one army here. They're not going to do much. And these guys have pinned them down here. Now, normally, I would send this army down here to capture that, and we could do that, but we're not going to do it because it's too badly banged up. Also, in your run, this might be quite healed up, and you would want to have a fully healed force to take it. Don't rush a siege like this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use this Rune Lord to scout down here just a little bit. And with this army, let's just build two Dwarf Warriors and one more Quarreller here. So we've got a squad of 6 here. That will basically get our upkeep to about level. Now, whilst we have traded with the Exiles in the heck, they've offered us military access, and we don't want to take that. If we take that and the Sister of Twilight hate them, it's going to be very hard to get a trade agreement with the Sister of Twilight. I don't mind trading with these guys for a bit of cash and to secure that border, but don't sign anything else. Oh, so these guys ventured out. Not good. Okay, so there they are. Oh man, they are coming. They are coming with a vengeance. I'd say they were probably already coming up to try and take this weaker settlement, and good thing we built some troops here. In hindsight, I would have stayed back here and then just kept recruiting, but we can also hire our regiments of renown, which is what we will do to repel this, to make sure we don't lose anything. So to build up using the cheapest units that we possibly can here, we're going to sit inside the reinforcement ring here in ambush stance. We only have 40% chance of getting this ambush, but if we do, we should be able to win that battle. We've got Slayers, which can actually beat their orcs in melee. So quest battles can be an excellent thing to do to give you some extra experience and something to do on these quieter turns. We're now going to return Grombrindal's army to him because he can't do this by himself just yet. Plus getting some experience on our units and heroes, of course, is a great priority to have. Now if we disband this guy, we will still keep his buff to research, but also we get a massive reduction in upkeep because we lost the supply line from having multiple armies. So having multiple armies will increase the supply lines, which will obviously increase your upkeep across the board. The Axe of Grombrindal quest battle, let's do it. Make sure you have 500 gold left to afford the teleportation. And on the battlefield here, we will find ourselves able to basically keep our back towards this mountain here, which means we can't get flanked. Good stuff. So we're going to start the battle. They will have more forces coming in, so we're just going to move ourselves back like this, so anything that comes from either side, we've got a good vantage point to shoot from. We don't want to go in the corner, we want to go just before the forest so we get good shooting still. Like that. Nice long shots. See the torpedoes going through all the units? Again. Great. More reinforcements coming in. Now fan your defensive infantry out on the flanks. Hammer is coming around.
Right far, right fast.
Oh.
Chunks away.
They'll often set up like a double flank like this, so face the enemy so they can brace for any charges. Alright, focus down these hounds. Hounds are actually a huge pain in the ass. Iron Drake's absolutely deleting their units there. Like they're nothing. Here we have chosen heavily armed infantry. They've got 120 armor. This is a perfect target for our Thunderers. Oh, there we go. It's a good stuff.
Thunderers! For the High King! Shoot the wizards!
Alright, remember to stand shoot, then move.
Pick your target well.
That's a perfect bombing target. Come on, weave around. And loose.
Yes! Go! Move off!
And of course we need the gold because now we've gone from being in the red to being pretty damn well off. Now this is the Rune Axe of Grombrindal. It also lowers upkeep by 5% and gives you an extra 10% post-battle loot. That's not even mentioning the extra abilities he gets, as well as an extra boost to his axe. Now we're going to have to be very, very careful with our diplomacy here. Doesn't cost us that much. Let's just get that tracking up. A bit of tribute, never hurt anyone. Now the other issue we have is that Malekith's about to get wiped out, which is going to leave him with not really a near enemy once he does that. So he's got. So the problem is if we go down here, he'll take that and we'll have to declare war on him. This leaves this army able to basically ravage our entire provinces. So instead, let's play nice with him. That's relatively cheap, right? Now, what'll happen is because we've given him a bit of gold and he's on side, he'll kill off Malekith, then he'll return down this way or down to his provinces here. This means he's no longer in our territory, so when we spring on him, he can't gut our army. And with Grombrindal, instead, we're going to force march down this way, assuming this guy's going to return this way. and we'll go take this off him at the nearest convenience. Okay, so over the end turn, they tried to underway past our army, and we've managed to catch them. It says value defeat, so we could really do a good number of damage on most of these units. These are obviously really well weighted in auto-resolve. If you were playing on normal, you'd probably win. That being said, we want to completely eliminate some of these units, so let's see what we can do. And on the battlefield, we'll actually have our catapults facing this way because we want to get our backs to this cliff edge here so they can't flank us. So Control A to select everyone, Alt to bring them back, and let's get them to about there. And we'll get our catapults now, make sure they're facing the correct way. We'll go like that formation so they can turn a bit quicker. Alright, we can hit fast forward. Alright, Control N for all our missiles. Let's focus down one unit at a time.
Clearing out! At once! Onward! Shifty!
The thing is, you want to make sure you at least use those volleys. A bad target is better than no target. Let's shoot the arrow, boys. And make sure you're getting the charge as well.
Our fire undimmed! Quarrellers!
Alright, now throw it. They're crowded around, now throw those blasting charges. Come on. Yes. And again. Oh, there we go. It's a good target there. Okay, cool. Alright.
Understood, Lord. The clans
They're broken off. We won't be able to finish them, but that's okay.
move to attack! Fire,
One more round of these blasting charges. Come on through.
Kill him!
We're just trying to blast these archers off the field. They are certainly hurting us. Come on, keep going, guys. Keep going.
Vengeance! Slayers!
This is actually going really well.
Kazuk!
Make sure they hold. So when you see a flank's about to break,
The clans unite!
come on, hang in there, guys. Hang in.
For our ancestors!
Lay boost. I should have done it earlier.
Ancestors!
Alright. Man, we managed to do that so well. So let's get some money. We're very short on cash. Turn 19, and the man of the hour, well, the dwarf of the hour, this guy right here, to move down to about here. This guy will probably need Rune of Wraith and Ruin. I'd say that army must have been wiped, maybe. We smashed it that hard. So let's get two more Quarrellers, one more round of Dwarf Warriors. And then next turn we can still hire a couple of Slayers from the recruitment pool. With what money? Well, the thing is, we've managed to get our last quest with Grombrindal. So once you start getting one quest, they tend to start just cascading because the experience of one will qualify you for the next, and so forth. Now, this army here, once we're going to take that because we just want our enemies wiped out, and then he can move on, and when we get these guys, we can try to pincer them both ways, and that will work really well for us. Now, this final quest battle is a little bit hard. I've only got 19 units. I really should get another, but I don't have time to recruit. I don't have the money, so let's just roll with this. Later in the game campaign, you can throw a second Iron Drake here, replace those guys with Thunderers, and at the back you have two lots of Torpedo Hammer Drakes, and they'll shoot over the front, and I find that very effective, especially with a couple of organ guns down the back. Against the undead, always make sure you target their most dangerous units. In this case, their Graveguard. They are light years ahead of everything else. Getting those shots along the side on is very, very useful. You get the chance to take down a Vampire Lord, do it, because the army starts to crumble the moment he's dead. Okay, you get flanked on both sides in this battle, so just be very careful. Alright, so bats, focus down the bats. The bats are a huge pain in the ass.
Kill them!
Oh.
Dwarfs! Ready axes! Quarrellers! They have wronged us! Quarrellers! Vengeance! Will do!
Alright, so protect your Iron Drakes at all costs. They are so effective in this matchup.
Attack! Take her down! Quarrellers! For the Ancestor gods! Dwarf warriors! Will do! Get him! The clans unite! That'll do! Dive bomb! Will do! Take them down! For the Callis Anchor! Taking aim! Dwarf warriors! Dowie attack! Pick your targets well! Pick your targets well! Take to the air!
Alright, do some bombing.
For the Ancestor gods! Blow through!
And sometimes you just see a small opportunity for your Iron Drakes to get in. Do it, it's well worth it. Hold shift and press 1, and that'll do your first ability.
Strike out! Right!
Oh,
Go!
give me 40% extra damage assist. Make sure it doesn't get hurt. Great result. Just so you do know, that is by far the most difficult one. You just have to have everyone set up properly. Our final quest item, and that has given us some extra 5% extra resistance and some more melee defense. We are now really in the driver's seat, and our stats are slowly creeping up there. Now this is risky, but I am going to build up Halkaldra. We spent all this money to keep her happy. She's still happy. If we can get walls on there, just even the minor walls, this will give us towers and help us defend this settlement. This will also give us a bit of extra cash. Turn 20, we have these regiments renowned up here still, but they can reach this settlement, so let's go and attack that. Okay, cool. Well, the Auto Resolve favours us, thank Christ. Now, I'm actually just going to sack that because we can see he's got an army there. He's going to take that next turn. I just wanted to make sure that they actually won and didn't screw it up.
Iron will.
When we declare war, this army will be able to take away these, take down these settlements here. Hopefully, we'll make our way back up. We'll need to recruit a few more units, but we can get rid of these very expensive elite units. Let's just disband those, disband those. So now all there really is to do is to take these bottom territories from the Ogres. Now they had 2 territories before. Who are they at war with? So they're at war with the Beastmen. So there's some elusive Beastmen around here that I don't know where they are, but they're giving these guys hell. That's actually good though. So these guys are losing attrition here. I should be able to react here. Let's see who are they at war with. Can we join any wars to make some money? So war it is. Let's go attack this guy. Okay, so that's relieved the siege, and that's an easy auto resolve. Normally that's a pain in the ass, just win it the exact same way that I told you before. By not turning our research off, we actually gave up, what's that, about 4 chances to earn students and archivists, so yeah, make sure you remember to do it. Cool, alright, so they have a gunsmith in this territory. Awesome, so let's build a grudge thrower with that final slot. Oh, and thank you, they just declared war on. They're not in our territories at least. We'll hopefully get a chance to intercept them, but we've done the right thing. Look, we've got... that's them. Ah, shit. Oh dear. But we've done the right thing. We have walls along our perimeter. We will have walls there, and we are going to protect this with the army we built here, purpose-built to do that. Turn 21, and we got a grudge. They've been raiding our lands. We need to return the favour, and we will. I'm confident we can defeat that in the battlefield if we need to, especially if it's got walls. Well, down here, they've taken the province as there was nothing left in there to defend it with. So these guys are retreating for dear life. Alright, we did that. We managed to get ourselves a couple of research followers from that because our research was off. So now moving down here, we can start to see that both of his territories there have been taken out. Which means that Thorek the Brass Bull, who he's at war with, is down here somewhere. That's obviously a big concern for us. I'm going to go down here and start hunting for him. We'll take a bit of attrition and we're force marching, but I know I can beat him in a battle. Oh, whoop, here we go.
Don't you fret, it's done.
We'll fight this on the battlefield because we can do this without losing anything. Since our economy is good and we're in a territory we control, we're definitely going to get this growth boost. Keep our eye on him. Force march up. We can't take these territories until we take out the Herdstone, which is here. So Thorek the Brass Bull is our next target, and it's definitely worth taking him out before you think about anything down here, right? So this Herdstone is always somewhere around turn 20-ish. You will want to take that out. He's a dangerous enemy, and it stops you colonizing anything around here. You want to at least hold this bottom Obsidian Peaks territory here, and then probably just have allies do everything else. And that's actually pretty good technology, so I'm actually going to get that. Pretty much at this point here, I don't worry about anything else down this line here. I mean, when we get Thunderers, if you want to, there will be a time where we do use Thunderers primarily, and getting these two are very, very good for Thunderers and Iron Drakes, but that's a bit later on. From now on, you can be as interested as going as far as up here for +5 armor for Dwarf shield units, but honestly, you don't even need that. Getting more armies and affording them more is going to be more important. So getting just this single line of upgrades here really, really does add up.
Lord God.
Oh, negative 146. That is so bad. I don't think I can even salvage it. She's pretty damn strong as well. Now we really need to assess this situation carefully. We need to look at her and her enemy. They both have 5 territories each. Oh, she's got 4, so she's technically a bit weaker. she's not that tempted to declare war on us, but thing is she might. If she does, her vassals will also start attacking these territories here, and we really need Grombrindal to be able to handle them. We need him down here just long enough to take down Torox, so I'm going to play safe. We're playing on Legendary. I don't want to reload. This is going to cost a lot. This is, I estimate maybe $4,000. So it's negative 146. That's one.
Without question.
Oh man. You know what, let's just try it. Maybe a couple of small gifts
By my black will.
will reduce the chance of her declaring war on us. We'll see. I don't think I can stop that. We can't afford that. That's literally giving her 5,000 to 8,000 gold just to not attack us. At that point, we're funding her military so much, we're creating an inevitable problem that we'll have to deal with, so we can't do that. Okay, so she's offering us non-aggression, and I say no to that because we need to be on side with Lithanar, and he's at war with her, so don't side with the enemies of your friends. Turn 22, and they are so desperate, they're doing a last-ditch attack. We should be able to auto-resolve this. Correct victory, I'm fine with that. Cool. And of course, let's take the gold. That's them destroyed. When a faction's destroyed, that means there's no longer an enemy in common. Just be careful what that does to your diplomacy. Oh, Lithanar, how you doing?
The shadow crown weighs heavily on my head.
Oh, not worth it. At the same time, I don't want him to declare war. Let's give him a gift, and that will soon creep back up to the positive. He's also being funded to wipe her out of this area, because I would like to take that territory. Don't declare war on him because of it. He's the only friend you have here. Be nice to him. Okay, now we're using the Underpass, and the best thing about this is it stops us taking any attrition. Now, I know that this is the safest spot we can go, so we're going to go right there. And next turn, we can take out his Herdstone and leave him with very few options left. He must be down here somewhere. Let's have a look at his diplomacy. He's at war with the Drowned and them. So basically, his enemies are here and here. So he's somewhere there. The Exiles and Heck here haven't lost any territory. If we look at them, they've still got their fore. So he has to be attacking them, which is why their balance of power is so weak, because he destroyed their armies. Makes sense. So we know he's got to be around here somewhere. We'll attack this Herdstone and then press up. What we're waiting for is to get walls on this, even just the basic walls. I'm going to take a gamble.
The master commands.
Taking a gamble. That's probably the last one I'll try. That's probably a lost cause and a waste of cash, but if it buys us even just another turn. Now, because this is looking so dicey, we need to get our second army up this way. Turn 23, and we're going to switch off our Underpass, and we're going to declare war on these guys. Let's see if we can add a little bit more cash. Cool, it's not much, but we'll take what we can get. Don't sign anything else though, that could be a bit too abrasive. We've almost made contact with the Sister of Twilight, let's not ruin a good thing. And we can certainly do this better on the battlefield. And on the battlefield, here we are. We've got our artillery down the very back, and looking good. Lots of forest, so this is really disadvantageous to us because we can't really maximize our firepower, so there's going to be a fair bit of melee. Fortunately, we're well equipped and got good stats on our guys. 61 melee defense will see us through. They do love to attack your Iron Drakes, just be careful. Take the time to line up your hammerers and get one big flank, like that. And the MO is the same, occupy everything, even if it's in hostile areas. I'd say his Torox is still down here. I'd love one battle with him because his defeat trait is really, really good. Now we have another threat over here. Oh, we can't underpass, and it's a decent army with some Cygors, so that is a legitimate threat. Move here, hire another, say, 3 Quarrellers, and hopefully we can get inside there. I think he'll at least besiege it for a turn, so I think we've got 1 turn to react, which is alright. Man, 4 turns. We are on borrowed time with these guys. She lost her army, yes. Oh, that's amazing. And what about these guys? They've lost their army too. Okay, what's happened is because their balance of power is basically 0, they've lost a serious round of engagements with Crone Hellebron here. So she's going to be a big threat by the time we get to her, but she's curtailed our biggest threat in this border, so we don't need to worry too much about her for just this period of time. Turn 24, a Skaven clan that starts around here is wiped out, so that's something else to be mindful of. Let's just see if Torox has managed to build any more Herdstones. He hasn't. We brought these guys a bit closer so we could underpass, and lo and behold we can. To help us get through this dicey position, we'll get these guys. They've got a bit more physical resistance, so they'll hold a little bit longer. Now let's try to attack from the garrison using these reinforcements. Oh, it says Pyrrhic victory. I will actually take that. We'll wipe the entire army. Beautiful. Amazing. Alright, let's get the gold. We're very short on it. And that wipes out that threat. It's amazing what just hiring some regiments and renown can actually do to your auto results. Okay, now we've checked the balance of power for these guys. They virtually have no military force to speak of. So now's the time to capture these. But the one thing stopping us is we are really lacking gold. So how can we get more? We're going to disband the forces but keep the Lord, because we need the Lord to actually take the territory. So there we go. We've just made ourselves an extra 1,000 gold per turn. We had a quick event. It's going to give us extra growth, but we lose a bit of control. We need to keep in mind on having no revolts. Just make sure he can go past if he can, and we'll just get him to capture that for the next turn. Going over to Grombrindal. We're going to march this guy up. Actually, we'll get him turned away so he doesn't get hurt. Over there, he'll be fine. And Grombrindal, can we get into... Okay, we can see we've got a good amount of movement for the next turn, so we'll be fine. Ambush stance. A little bit of attrition, but that's okay. Where's Torok? Let's see if we can find him. Can't, but we're looking relatively strong. He may be lost a battle. Hopefully we get one more fight out of him before he dies. Let's have a look at our enemies. She has 2 settlements left, so she's on the ropes, and Alithanar is probably looking really good right now. Do you want to sign non-aggression with us?
The shadows come.
Not
The day
yet.
wanes. Are you prepared?
He will though. And that's basically this turn sorted. Let's just double check there's no other settlements we can build up, but we'll need some money up our sleeve to get these main buildings upgraded, so we need to be sort of hovering around the 5 grand mark, but we will build this. Definitely worth it. And we're just going to basically finish off here, but over the top I'll be showing you different steps and different timestamps throughout the campaign, but essentially once you've got this bottom area under control by getting Torok removed from the equation, you can now take over his provinces because the Herdstone is gone. He's no longer a threat, and you have nothing that you really need to worry about. If you ever see either the Tomb Kings, Heralds of Ariel run out of enemies, make sure you immediately invite them to war with one of your enemies, especially with the Cult of Pleasure, who you want them to all be tangling to distract them. From here, it's just a simple case: go north and start wrecking Valkia, get all those defeat traits from her, Crone Hellebron, Sigvald. It's just a train of amazing traits. You can get Mal's Darkblade if he's still alive. Now you've already got all the quest items. The only thing you need is the Iron Warden's Tankard, which you could simply get by trading with the Sisters of Twilight. In this particular run, they didn't actually have it, so I had to go all the way over to the mainland to get it from Luenker, but here we are. But there are other items that will give you regeneration, like the Seeds of Rebirth. You can get that along the north, and if you can't get this, please get the Scepter of Stone. This alone will probably finish your battles without the need for regeneration. Just trust me, use that and you've got an immediate one-man doom stack, which is Grombrindal, and you will have no dramas. The Master Rune of Flight is also very useful, as you can see here. The ability just to stand in the doorway and you can snipe down the most heavily armoured infantry with it. Very, very powerful item. Just make sure you use all of your melee abilities when you're in melee to basically slice down anything that could oppose you, and this guy is really easy to use. If you're ever in doubt, just simply castle up against the far corner, just corner camp with him essentially, keep your back against the wall, and this will mean the enemies kind of get funneled to you front on. They're not getting the side on hits, and you'll just absolutely wreck the army, bombard them, shoot at them. Yeah, it's very, very easy to do and reliable from as early as turn 25 onwards, and not many Doom stacks can say they can do that. You can reliably peel him away, say around turn 35-40. Just keep in mind, it's not a sure thing, and you do need to be careful with this. If you're willing to be really adventurous, he has the ability to come back after being wounded in a single turn, so you can just simply disband him, throw on a new front, get some new defeat traits, and throw him around. It's just very, very useful, very dynamic, and if you do want to put him in an army, he's great with Iron Drakes. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have found it useful, please consider liking and subbing. It really does help out. This is Plot Armor, and I will see you next time.